Amanda Seales.
Yes.
Amanda Seales went on
Club Shay Shay.
Club Shay Shay. And here we are. That's my rundown of it.
Okay.
Pop, you saw it?
Let's toss it to our sister.
Okay.
Mary
Yeah, take it to
Clarence.
when this began.
Yeah.
It began with Amanda Seales saying that black media is not accepting of her.
Well, no, it was bigger than that. So it was around the time that the NAACP awards were happening. And she went on her her Instagram page and did a reel, and she basically says, "I don't get invited anywhere." Like she was basically saying, if it wasn't for y'all, basically her audience, I would think that nobody messes with me because I don't get invited anywhere. The NAACP, I've been nominated for an award. I don't get invited to the awards. I've hosted the BET Awards. I don't get invited to them. I never get invited to the Essence Women in Hollywood brunches. I don't get invited anywhere. And so that goes viral. And then not one, not two, not three, but 4 op-eds come out about Amanda Seales and the perception of her likability, and whether or not that's the cause or the reason as to why she's not invited into these spaces. So it was Essence that did an op-ed, The Griot, The Root, and I think it was Black Enterprise. And so what was also really interesting at this time was Essence Magazine was under the post basically saying, we see you and we love you, but then this op-ed comes out basically excoriating her, like ripping her to shreds and whatnot. So this all leads to her ending up on Club Shay Shay. Did any of you guys get a chance to see anything, like
seen
clips?
clips.
I saw clips and I watched it.
I watched it.
Watched a little bit.
Okay,
And turned
all
it
right.
off.
Okay, so any takes?
You keep going.
Well, it was a 3-hour interview. It was really, really, really long. So a lot of things came out. Major themes were, her autism diagnosis. Another theme was, the likability factor. She discussed Issa Rae and whether or not she was, difficult to work with during the course of, her performance on 5 seasons of Insecure. And it had like over 1 million views inside of 2 days. So a lot of people are like, kind of talking about this. And a lot of people are sharing the experiences of, when they've met her and perceptions of how unpleasant they found her to be. So, I just...
By watching it, for me, I felt like she was, in the beginning, the parts I did watch, she was extremely argumentative and defensive. I didn't think that Shannon Sharpe said anything wrong when he was explaining to her that it's not a race thing because a white teacher doesn't want you to upstand her or tell her what to do or correct her in the class. It's not race. He was saying that adults don't like children correcting them at all. It's an adult thing. And I felt like she got defensive to that. And I didn't think that he was wrong for that. That kind of threw me for a loop, that part in specific.
So what happened during that exchange was she was talking about a time where she grew up in Florida. She was in elementary school, and she was talking about this teacher, a white female teacher, who were basically saying that Aboriginal people are from the Stone Age.
Yes.
And she was just like, no, they weren't. So she was correcting the teacher who was giving misinformation to her students. And Shannon was saying that was wrong. No teacher wants to be corrected by a student. That's embarrassing, and et cetera, et cetera.
But she implied that it may be a race thing.
Yeah, she implied that it was a race thing, and she gave other other examples as to why she felt like it was, that the teacher was racist.
I'm agreeing with Flip. Because my know-it-all ass did it my whole life, and to black teachers, and they
don't like it.
Wanted to knock my head off for doing it.
So she got defensive as Shannon Sharpe, where she even said, okay, like a little sarcastic. And I remember turning around, looking at the screen and said, what's her problem? Because I understand what he was saying. Yeah. I've experienced that as well.
Yeah.
Then she went on this share story about her when she was a child and some other racist kids, where Shannon's reply was like, are you sure that those are racist kids or are they just kids? The kids say mean shit.
Yes.
Kids often repeat what they hear at home. Like, why are you... He was just trying to me, it felt like he he just kept trying to add a different point of view.
I thought that was great. I thought
from what
I thought
Amanda was expressing, and I was appreciative of that in the interview.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think it creates good dialogue.
It does.
You and I have had powwows oftentimes about similar things. Me and Corey have had powwows about similar things. I just think that in an interview, it just creates a discourse and a dialogue where you could potentially get somebody else's perspective and point of view.
Agreed.
Yeah, but it doesn't. You're right.
You don't have to
but
argue
it doesn't
about it.
create good dialogue if it makes the subject uncomfortable.
It shuts down.
Defensive, annoyed. Rather, Amanda looked like she was a bit annoyed. I want to say they had these awkward moments throughout at least the first 90 minutes of this interview.
Yeah, the first half
Yeah.
there was a lot of tension. It seemed to cool down in the second half, and she was kind of just going.
And at one point, Shannon even said, "You know what? This is your interview. I'm going to stop interjecting with anything about how I feel about these things." Right? Shannon also rubbed her the wrong way and this is Shannon's fault, because early in the piece, she did say, "My Haitian mother," or whatever her mother
Trinidadian.
is. My Trinidadian mother. She said that early in the piece. And he seemed to have heard that. And then, however many moments later, he's just reading off the card and he says, "So your mother's white."
Yeah. I believe she's from Grenada.
Oh, she's talking
Yeah.
Trinity to me. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
She was.
So then that sent her like, "No, my mother's not white. I just told you she is blah, 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 blah." And then Shannon said, "Well, she married white." And she said, "No."
So you could tell that her responses they're not just defensive, that they are long-held traumas. You
Yes.
can tell that this is stuff that she has had to combat for a long time. You know, that her being light-skinned is the result of having, being
mixed.
Yeah, being mixed.
Me.
Exactly. Yes.
I've endured it my whole life, and I'm like, no, nigga, I'm not mixed. But I won't get mad at somebody if they say that.
But
Yeah.
you're mixed, though. What happened, Mel? What you saying? Don't get mad.
So she launches into a tirade of about the fact that slave masters her ancestors, which is why she's so light-skinned, but that her parents are both black. And so you can tell that a lot of her responses are due to stuff that she's felt like she's had to combat or deal with her whole entire life. And that in itself kind of makes you feel like you got a lot of stuff you might have to work through.
I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, now you got it.
I wanted to ask you a question because I thought about this part when I watched it. She was saying about all the stuff that she's experienced, right? And then Shannon Sharpe said, "Are these people that know you personally, or are they from the internet?" And she said, "It's from the internet. These are people from the internet that's making me feel this way, that's saying bad things, right?" And I wanted to ask you this because you stay away from those negative comments and stuff. But do you think that the question that he asked her at the time was insensitive? Do you think that he was insensitive by scoffing a little bit? I don't think he did it intentionally, but like, okay, these are people from the internet that's affecting your daily life. Do you think that question that he asked her was wrong or insensitive?
No, I don't think he was being insensitive.
Okay.
And I think that what he was trying to allude to, and let me not, try and, give my own thoughts as to
Got
what
it.
he was trying to do, but this was just my interpretation. He was trying to allude to the fact of it can't be everybody. It just can't be everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
where
that's
you're
what he was doing.
Got it, man.
where you are never wrong, where you are not the problem in any situation ever for the entire time you've been alive. It's always somebody else. That's what I feel like was the question he was alluding to without actually asking it, because that's the question that just keeps on coming up. It is a fact that Hollywood is extremely fucking cliquish. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with talent. You get in because of nepotism or relationships.
Not just Hollywood.
It's not just Hollywood, but
the world.
It's the world, but it's pervasive.
I believe you.
It's pervasive in that industry. And so the reality is that, you might not have like a high likability factor, and that is affecting you. That is a very real reality. So if you don't feel like there's any sense of accountability, or there's no sense, she is a brilliant woman. We cannot take that away from her.
That was on full display.
Full display.
Just how Pop, that's your ringtone? why your shit sound
That
like
shit
the,
spoke too.
sound like the,
A house phone.
Sound like the
Pop.
milkman is coming in the 50s. Update your fucking ringtone. Damn. But that her brilliance
Highly
was
intelligent.
on full display.
Highly
Yes.
intelligent.
Yeah.
Very well educated.
But
When it comes to somebody who is that level, that high level of intelligence, oftentimes you kind of get in your own way with a lack of self-awareness.
or
You know,
because I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
When you're really smart, oftentimes you tend to talk down to people because you are smarter than them. And now other people start to get defensive because they feel like you're talking at them and not to them.
Yeah, and
And when you couple the high intelligence level with the
condescension.
with the anger that you may have. So now if I ask you something simple like, yo, your mom's white, instead of you saying, no, my mom's from Grenada. I told you before.
She's firing
You
cannons.
mad now. You get what I'm saying? So I think with her, and I like her. Like I like a lot of stuff. I agree with a lot of stuff she says, but I think that she is pretty angry. And I think that
was on full display as well.
When you
Yes.
don't have the diplomacy, so that's why I'm not saying Hollywood is not cliquish.
Yeah.
In life, and this is for all the young people looking, in life, dog, you get a lot further being nice to people, being diplomatic, and being easier to work with. That's in any field. That's just not Hollywood. That's corporate America, that's sports, that's whatever. If somebody likes you, they'll go the extra mile for you, even though you may not be qualified. I like him, I see something in him, and I'm gonna work with him, as opposed to the asshole that's overly qualified. I'd rather work with you than work with them. And that's in the real world.
That's a very true point.
She seemed to get very hung up on negative
Yes.
experiences
Yes.
a lot. Like
Yes.
I too am a fan of hers. I've met her actually once a million trillion
Yeah,
years ago. Seemed very nice. I was in like a service. I was helping her at a store, and she was very kind and nice. And that's a position usually where someone could get shit on. I just think when I was watching this interview, it's like, damn, like she has a lot of negative experiences that she's dwelling on. Like I want to hear about some of the good shit that you.
Yo, you hitting it right on the head, right? Like, and she said repeatedly throughout this interview, she said, I'm working on and have been working on, thinking that because I'm one way, that everyone else is like that too. So that said to me that, okay, that's been an area for you where throughout your travels, back to that, just not being self-aware, not being aware of how you come off. And I noticed that trend among the very, very, very well-educated. There's a crop of well-educated people that just seem really socially inept. Like
That's common.
their social skills are not there. They can't tell when they're rubbing somebody the wrong way. They just are.
Socially awkward.
Yeah, but it's not even just awkward.
It's
Brash.
it's
It's a
abrasive.
brashness.
It's
Not- yeah,
abrasive.
exactly.
It's a whole. It's a bunch
awkward
of
is
things.
one thing. Awkward is
Got
you
it.
might find yourself timid in the corner because there's so many people here. What I'm talking about is being able to walk in a room and rub everybody the wrong way. And I'm saying this, I'm sharing this from experience.
Got it.
I'm sharing this as somebody that I'm sure has rubbed people the wrong way
Me too.
or has had the reputation of not difficult to work with, problematic, all of these things, right? And when you damage your reputation that way, it's your job to repair it. You have to repair it. Whatever circles you running around in. So now Amanda, I met Amanda in the SUNY Purchase days. Thanks, Parks. I didn't know it was SUNY. In the SUNY Purchase days because Michael Paul went to the same school. So, and that was Amanda Diva.
Yeah, Amanda Diva.
Yeah.
And that Amanda was bubbly,
Cool as shit.
intelligent, great sense of humor, witty. That Amanda seemed to be a people person. It just seems like the industry and her path has turned her into something else.
I agree.
And I can identify with that.
Neutral button.